Hey guys, the Chickens here, back tonight with another home gym video. In today's video, what I wanted to go over was the basics of a home gym. So you're looking at starting a home gym. What is it you actually need to get going and get training? It's kind of confusing because there's a lot of stuff out there, especially now, about, different equipment to buy or getting this or getting that. But I mean, I'm going to talk about what you need for just in terms of the basics to get started and then maybe build off from there. And also what you would need just in terms of, maybe you just want to be one and done. You just want to get, kind of a minimalist setup, but still have a nice setup at the same time. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. You want to see more home gym related stuff. And let's get into it. So I think every home gym, regardless of, your fitness goals, for general health and general fitness, you need to be doing, barbell training. And it's not because it's the best or it's, better than, doing dumbbells or calisthenics or whatever. It's just the most efficient. It's the best bang for your buck. So when we're talking a minimalist setup, you want to be able to do barbell training. So where you're going to want to start off is just simply a squat rack. Now, there's different types of squat racks, okay? There's 3 different types. So there's a squat stand, there's a half rack, and then there's a full rack. So the difference is obviously the size and the different things you can put on them. You can do a lot with just simply a squat stand. This right behind me here, this started out as just a squat stand that I've, built on. I did it all at once, but I mean, you could also do it over the years depending on, your budget and what you want to do and that kind of thing. But I would say a squat stand is just simply a requirement for a home gym. Like, you got to have one. It can do everything. I mean, it can kind of stop and it can kind of start and end at the squat rack because you can essentially do everything inside of it. It doesn't take up a huge footprint for the exercise that allows you to do. So in a squat rack or squat stand, you're going to be able to squat, obviously, bench, and you've also got, safety arms where you can put the weights onto your deadlift, pick it up off, put it on the ground. It works out kind of nice for that as well. So it's just the squat rack is the center of your home gym. And then everything else you kind of build out on top of or around that. So the next thing that you would need is a bench. So you need a bench to bench press. But I mean, a bench, you can also do a million other things on it too, right? You can do ab work, you can do, if you want to do accessory work, you can use that. If you want to do leg stuff like step ups or, different types of things like that, you're going to have the bench. You can use it for box squats. You can use it for, a million different things. But primarily, the bench's function is allowed to bench inside the rack, right? So if you're getting a bench, I would suggest getting an adjustable bench for your first one. Now, I kind of made that mistake, as you can see back here. I've got a full standalone bench. It's actually a competition rack that I just use for bench pressing, so it's even less efficient. And, I'm not using myself as an example. I'm just going over, what you would need for a minimalist setup. That's the point of the video, right? So the problem with the standalone bench or getting a flat bench is you're limited to that range of motion. You're limited to just simply flat benching. And although that's fine and you can get a lot of work done doing that, it's nice to have the, the option to adjust it. And, for not much higher price point, I think it's worth it. Again, it's the same item. It's going to allow you to have a lot of variability within your exercises. And it's not that much more. So there's no real reason why not to do it. Now, as we're talking about some of this stuff, it should go without saying that on your squat rack, you got to have spotter arms. You absolutely have to have spotter arms, especially if you're working out alone. People die bench pressing, getting the bar stuck on their neck. We saw that guy recently. I made a video on him. He died squatting and probably could have been saved. Well, would have been saved if he had spotter arms in place. So spotter arms are very important. Make sure you get them. Make sure they're set at the right height. Typically, they would come with the squat racks. That's kind of what I'm talking about there. So those are kind of the basics. You need a squat rack. You need a bench. You need, an area of solid flat floor to lift on where the ceiling's, not too much in your way. And then other than that, it really comes down to personal preference because, yeah, dumbbells are great. Dumbbells would probably be the next thing if you had to get something else. The thing with dumbbells is they're very expensive. You can basically do a lot of stuff with barbells that you can't with dumbbells. Obviously, it's different, and it's nicer to have the dumbbells for sure. But, yeah, in terms of footprint, they're great. It's just the cost is not really there. The thing is, you can do a lot of stuff just simply with weight plates, although it's kind of, It's awkward on the fingers. You can get those loadable dumbbell, adjustable dumbbells that, you know, your weight plates fit on top of. And you can just simply like screw lock them on. They're not the best, but I mean, they work. So, you know, you could probably get them for like $25, $40 now. Not that expensive, and they will get the job done, allow you to do some other stuff. The next biggest thing is something that people mostly gloss over for the most part. That is weight plates. So weight plates are definitely the most expensive part of a home gym if you're buying your stuff new. It's not only just the straight cost of them, depending on where you're getting them. If you're not able to pick them up yourself, the shipping's expensive. You know, the freight charges are a nightmare. And it's just a very, you know, you're buying just straight heavy, you know, hundreds of pounds of steel. So, I mean, there's no way around it. It's going to be expensive. But the best way to do it now is to check your used shops, your Marketplace, your Kijiji, your Craigslist, things like that. Things are starting to, I talked about this in a recent video, but things are starting to come back around for workout equipment where, you know, we had the craze in the COVID, and then now it's like people bought all the stuff. Now it's starting to come back around to where people are buying stuff and then selling it. So, I mean, there's stuff in the space. You just got to be patient. You got to look for the right buy. Sometimes people are still jacking up the price. I just posted a picture actually on my Instagram at the Chicken Home Gym. And it was somebody selling like pretty bad like workout equipment. I mean, it was fine. There was nothing wrong with it, but it was cheap stuff, and it was for like 30 grand for basically the things that we're talking about here, which would, you know, you should not have to spend more than a couple $1,000s depending on where you get this stuff. I mean, if you want to get it all from like Rogue or Sorinex, sure, you can spend, you know, $10, $15, $20,000 if you want to. But yeah, I like to focus more on minimalist stuff because I feel like, number one, it's more helpful to people. I mean, it's cool to see like the Coop, you know, home gym stuff with like the tonals and whatever, but you know, it doesn't really make sense for most people to have that kind of stuff. You know, like if you're struggling to pay your mortgage, does it make sense to buy a $10,000, you know, smart home thing, or, you know, a barbell that you're going to get use out of forever and it's going to suit all your needs? So I think it makes more sense, but you guys let me know what you think down below in the comments if I missed anything. I mean, that's basically it. The only thing we didn't talk about was barbells, but that's kind of the same thing as weight plates. Obviously you're going to need a barbell, and again, I would go get a good pair of collars with it too. Not the cheap spring collars, they fall off. I mean, you don't want your plates to fall off and damage your floor, because it is, you know, you're lifting your house. It's not the gym where, you know, who could care if the floor gets damaged, but in your own house you want to make sure it's protected. Another thing people love to get in home gyms, and I mean, if you watch the videos for more than 10 seconds, you've already heard of horse stall mats. I'm not going to talk about them because everybody knows that that's kind of the consensus for home gym flooring to protect your floor. They're okay. I do have some. For the most part, I removed almost all of them just because it created a very damp, moist environment on my floors, and I got a lot of like bugs and mold growth underneath them. It was very disgusting. Horse stall mat's great for garage, not so much for a basement. So you guys let me know what you think down below in the comments. If you want to see more, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Catch you next one, guys. Chicken out.